there, it's Carrie from Stamp with CT. So I'm going to turn my little air conditioner off right quick because it makes a noise. On Facebook. Oops. I'm dumping stuff out. I feel a little discombobulated because I thought I had everything ready, and then our son Shane stopped by, so I visited with him for a little while, and then I came back in my craft room and realized, oh, eek, my table is a disaster. So anyway, that's good though. It's always great whenever one of my kids or grandkids is able to stop by, so spent a little bit of time visiting with him. So hello everybody, this is Carrie from Stamp with CT. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Texas. So I hope as you hop in, you'll say hello. And I'm super glad to have you here. If you're catching this part of the video, you may be getting the replay. And so I love having the replay crew here too. I know at the time that I do my live, a lot of people are still at work, but I do have several friends that are able to join live almost every week. I've got some really loyal friends that I really appreciate that are able to join live, but if you're catching the replay, that's fine too. And if you're watching over on YouTube, I do upload pretty much all of my content over to YouTube, so you may be watching there, and I appreciate that as well. So as you join in, I see a couple friends have popped in. I hope you'll say hello. We're going to make something pretty today. I was inspired by a friend, and so I'm going to be kind of casing, or I guess really more being inspired by her card. So I like to say copy and share with edits is what case stands for. I know some people say copy and share everything. You may have learned something different, but no matter what, I was inspired by a card that I received, and so that's what we're going to create today as a project that inspired me. But before we get started with that, I'll talk a little bit about the supplies that I'm going to be using today. You have seen these before. This is a beautiful online exclusive suite of products, and what online exclusive means is that the products are not in a publication like our catalog. You just have to go to stampinup.com, or you can go to my website at stampwithct.stampinup.net, and you can shop there. You can look around for ideas, see what products we have, and in the online exclusive category, you're going to find some amazing products, not only suites, but also bundles, standalone stamp sets, ribbons, embellishments, lots of different things that are just seen online. So be sure you're popping over there from time to time. Usually every couple months, Stampin' Up! Releases some new online exclusives, and we have some new ones now, but this one is from a couple months ago, and I just cannot quit playing with this set. It's so beautiful. The paper is lovely. I wanted to pull out the dies, even though I'm not using them today, and just remind you what an amazing set this is. I could have used them today, but I decided to go pretty simple, focus more on the card base, which is what I really wanted to share with you today. But such a lovely, oops, I don't want to lose that guy. Get that back up there on the magnet. But such a lovely set, this Impressions of Bloom and Floral Impressions Designer Series paper. You move that out of the way. And we'll take a look at this. Now, for some reason, I'm completely out of one of the patterns from this paper. And it could be because I just love it so much. And I can't, off the top of my head, think about which one it is. Maybe not. Maybe I've got them all. Maybe so. Oh, yeah, I do. I thought I was missing one. Aren't they lovely? They're just so beautiful. We have used this in a class. We've used this for bingo. And I just still keep getting drawn back to this pretty paper. Here's the B side. So very, very versatile. I love using scraps of paper like this that have such a light color, almost like a wash to them. Sometimes just a very light pattern like this because I use up those little scraps as sentiment pieces and stamp on DSP. Love doing that. Now this one's a little darker. It would be a little bit harder, but you can use little scraps of this underneath your sentiments to give it a little pop of color, give it a little bit more texture and dimension. And then there's that final. I think that one's the one on the back of the sunflower. So beautiful. So beautiful. And you know, we do have a sunflower embossing folder now, a 3D embossing folder. And so that would be really nice to pull that paper back out with it too. Okay, so here is the card that is inspiring me this week on what we're going to create. This card was sent to me by my friend Trish, and she is a fellow demonstrator. You can find her on Facebook and YouTube at Trish's Card Club. And I would highly recommend, if you're not a subscriber on her YouTube channel, to pop over there after this video and go ahead and subscribe to her channel. Now, of course, you can ring the notification bell, and hopefully YouTube will let you know when she goes live on Monday nights. That's when she does her live video. But she is an awesome demonstrator, an awesome friend, and she is trying really hard to get her subscribers to the 1,000 level, because then it unlocks some things that she can do on YouTube. So if you're not already a subscriber there, pop over there and do that. She would really appreciate it. And I would too. But anyway, Trish also, you can find her on Facebook at Trish's Card Club. She created this super cute card, and it is using those amazing Everyday Arches dies. And I love them so much. And what was so funny, when I pulled this out of the envelope, I had to kind of chuckle to myself because I was just talking to Cheryl last week and told her I wanted to orient a card in this direction using these Everyday Arches dies. So when Trish did that, I told her great minds think alike. So is that not just the cutest? I'm not sure which die set that comes from. Maybe she'll put it in the comments for us if she watches the replay, because she's at work. But look at how beautiful the stitching is on that flower. Or if one of you knows which die set that may have come from, I just thought that was so pretty. Such a nice detail. And then I love how she added those gems in the center. So this was just super cute. I was already wanting to make a card similar to this, so that sealed the deal, and I knew what we were going to make today. So I went ahead and pulled in some of the paper. We'll get our parts out here. Some of the paper that I absolutely love from Floral Impressions. It's so pretty. And then right off the bat, what did I do? I cut it with the wrong size Everyday Arch die. But that's okay. You can almost always fix things when you mess up. So I just pulled out the next size, and I'm going to mat it with Old Olive cardstock because it's part of this designer series paper too, one of the colors. And then I cut a mat for the inside too. And then I grabbed some fresh freesia cardstock to actually cut my card base the way that Trish did it. So let me pull in my Everyday Arches dies. And I'm thinking that maybe I've got one missing. I was looking at that. I'm going to have to go back over to my other table and see. But it looks like I do. Anyway, I just took... Well, let me show you what we did. I took a piece of fresh freesia cardstock and scored it at 5.5. Let me put it in here and do that right quick. I think I may have already scored this piece. Make sure you use your gray blade for scoring and then the darker blade for cutting. And I always take mine out and change them around, because when you first get your trimmer, the gray blade is actually at the bottom. And what I love about this trimmer is you can actually pull those blades out of the way, either at the top or the bottom, so you're not using the wrong one. But I always switch mine. I don't know why I do that. And then we're going to cut it at 4 1/4. Sorry, I have to lift this up because the way my light is, oh man, the glare. I feel like I'm talking with the real Southern drawl today, y'all. But it is what it is. So we're going to get 2 card bases when we do that, cut at 4 1/4. So they're 11 by 4 1/4. And then you've got your score line. So when you fold this, I highly recommend using your bone folder, and I should have one out over here somewhere. I do. Go ahead and burnish that score line. And then this is how I did it. I would assume Trish did pretty much the same thing. But I take that largest die and I just make sure that the stitching goes over the end of the card base a tiny bit. And I'm pretty sure that that will show up on camera. And then you can lay it just like this on your cutting platform. Put your cutting plate over and run it through, or you can lay it down like I typically would for dies. And so that's how you keep it from cutting that edge, and you actually get a card that ends up in an arch shape. Pretty cool, huh? That was easy too, wasn't it? I want to keep those handy though. I'm going to show you, I'm going to do something a little bit different. We're making 2 projects today. Okay, so I'll show you how I like to put my inside panel in, because I don't want, it doesn't matter so much with this one. I could just do it over here. Let's do that. On my other card, we'll have to line it up just so. Let's use a little bit of extra glue today, huh? We'll go ahead and glue it down. So we've got our inside panel. And it looks like I probably used a little bit smaller panel for this as well. But it's gonna work. I just won't be able to write a novel to whoever gets this card, but that's okay. Now, of course, you could still stamp on your layer if you want to. And I love cutting out the arch shape for the inside as well. I think that's so fun. And even though it's fresh freesia and I could probably just write, I tend to use Sharpie, the fine tip Sharpies. This is what I love to write with because it's a nice bold ink. But even though it would show up on fresh freesia, I just really like putting that inside panel. So we'll go ahead and mat up this piece of DSP. Made a little smiley face with my glue. Y'all like that? I've had the best day today. I have spent most all of my day in my craft room, my happy place, other than when I went out to grab some lunch and throw a load of laundry in and talk to Shane. Other than that, Oliver and I have been in the craft room all day long. It is our happy place, and we've just had the best day, y'all. We'll do a smiley face for this one, too. I'm sure y'all are like, okay. You're smiling, though, aren't you? We might as well. So isn't that just so pretty? Just the designer series paper. Because let me tell you, when I pulled this card from Trish out of the envelope, I was so delighted. I thought that is something different. It's something so cute. It almost kind of looks like a pocket too. My mind just starts going with all kinds of ideas. Okay. So then what I did was go ahead and just kind of mimic what we've already got going with the layers here. And I cut one of the small arches to stamp on, and then a little bit larger arch cut from Old Olive as well that I'm going to mat that on. I felt like that got a little bit lost. It would work probably, but it got a little bit lost. I like it better with it matted on the Old Olive. Pretty pretty. And let's see here. I think I'll go ahead and stamp with Blackberry Bliss ink. It's beautiful. Guess I need to find my stamp. Ooh, that's it, but I had not cleaned it well. Let me do that right quick on my chamois. We were talking on, we were on Zoom last night. I think it was last night. And we were talking about how you can actually put your chamois in the washing machine. Did y'all know that? If you've got a load of maybe dark towels, something like that, because if you're using it just for classic ink, our Stampin' Up! Classic ink is water-based, and so you can do that I would rinse it out really good first and then pop it in the washer, the little bit of mild detergent. I need to probably do that to mine. We were talking about kind of how to take care of your chamois. See if I can get that stamp straight. Put my equipment up above. I think I did okay. It's a little bit wonky maybe. I'm looking at it. Eek! Now I dropped it. We're gonna go with it. I think it's okay. And then I'll just set that on my chamois, get that out of the way. We're gonna go with it. Alrighty. And I love the stitching that you have with the arch dies. Gives it a little bit more detail. Little something something. So cute. Yeah, that may be a little bit wonky, but it's okay. We're gonna go with it. Okay. Let's grab a couple of dimensionals. I love dimensionals. They truly are one of the first products I bought from Stampin' Up. Part of the reason that I joined Stampin' Up so I could get a discount. And one of the items that I have memorized when I go to order them. 104430. That's the item number. Just a little random tidbit there. Isn't that funny? Oh, it's cute, isn't it? Now, I made a bow a little bit earlier with the gold mesh ribbon and put it on the glue dot to keep it from running off. And I think I'm just going to come over here. I probably should have moved my, I wonder if I could still get it up. Probably should have moved this over a tiny bit. Just kind of look at your pattern of your paper too and see where you need to place things. I'm trying to decide. I think I'm going to put that little bow right there. Make sure that that's straight-ish. And then, let's see. I did grab a couple of gems out. I really should have gotten my purple gems, but I didn't. But I do have these, and we used these at Bingo last month with our popcorn, and I've used up a lot of the yellow and white. These are the Starburst sequins, but there's still some purple ones that I haven't used. So we'll pop a couple of those on there. They're kind of a swirly looking sequin. They're really pretty. Oh, this is my new card. I have another card. Probably should be using the one. I should be using the one that I've used up a lot of my yellow. Oh well, we'll just use this one. But I think these are super pretty. So I have a little room there. I can pop that guy on there. And there is our version of the Everyday Arches card that Trish inspired me to make. Isn't that fun? And I do have another card that I want to make, because remember I told you that I already had it in my mind that I wanted to orient an arch card this way. So let me show you the other one. And we're going to be making an arch card in Bingo next Saturday too. So I went ahead and cut this, but I want to show you guys again, because this is a little bit different way to do this, because I've already cut this, but it's going to stay with the back of the card still attached. So like a little arch flap. So what I did for this one, because remember, for the one like Trish, we put our die up over the edge so that it wouldn't cut out that end. It wouldn't cut arches out. It would cut an arch-shaped card base. So for this one, you have to do that same thing, but then open it up. And when you run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and you put your top plate on, oops, what you want to do is make sure it's where you want it, just beyond the score line. And when you put your top plate on, you're going to line it up to where that edge of your die is not covered by your top plate. So when you run it through, it doesn't put any pressure there and it doesn't cut into your card base. Hopefully that makes sense. I think so. So that's how I ended up with this. And then, of course, this piece is going to get cut off. And I will tell you, I went a little bit too far back with my die. I had it pushed a little bit farther back than I intended to, but it's going to work. So I'm just going to come in with my snips. That's not working exactly like I wanted it to, but there we go. Kind of cut on that score line. And now I have a card base with a flap that comes up. Now I could go ahead and put a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of white on the inside if I wanted to, where some of that showed, but I decided instead that I wanted to cut a white layer one size smaller for the inside. And here's where I'm going to line it up with my top layer. I'm going to put a little glue on it. And then I'm going to close my card, and then that way I know that it's where I want it to be. And it won't hang out. Like if I just glued it down here, it might be hard to get it all centered up, but that way I know it's not going to be peeking out where I don't want it to be. Now, I learned my lesson and I cut my Designer Series paper with the next largest die. So we can go ahead and put it down. I really like making that smiley face. That's too funny. And I'm actually going to butt that paper right up against the edge of my base over here. Just because, like I said, I cut that one just a little bit shorter. But I didn't want to just throw it all away because it's still going to work. Okay, now this is going to orient this way and open up this way. So cute. And then I want to go ahead and do a little stamping right quick. I'm still going to use that thanks. I left it over on my chamois, so let me grab it. But I want to stamp thanks in Old Olive. I'm going to ink up my stamp using my piercing mat so that I have a little bit of cushion there. Stamp down my thanks. I did pretty good. And then I'm going to bring in, where do I say I am? Where did I put it? There it is. I'm going to bring in my Blackberry Bliss. And I think, and I'm going to stamp a flower, but I need a little scrap. And I didn't grab one. But I have a Post-it note here, so that will work. I think I want to stamp off. Yes, I do. So we'll do second generation. So I'll stamp some of the ink off onto that notepad. And then come over here and stamp my flower. So it gives a really pretty effect, doesn't it? Probably could have stamped that flower up just a little bit, but yeah, I'm not super happy with that. I stamped one earlier, just testing it out, and now I don't know what I did with it. Well, darn. That's not exactly what I wanted, but we'll go with it. I don't see the other one that I stamped earlier. Okay, so now we're going to do a little something. We're going to take one of the holographic gems. Have y'all seen them? They're so lovely. They're really, really pretty. And we're going to take one of our Blackberry Bliss Stampin' Blends. These are alcohol markers. We have a dark and a light Blackberry Bliss Stampin' Blend. And I think I'm going to try the dark, and I want to use this brush tip. There's a wider tip and a more fine tip. I want to use the brush tip. And I'm going to just color real gently one of these holographic gems. And you can put a layer of color on, let it dry for a minute, and then you can put a little bit more. This is a super shiny gem already, and that's going to add some Blackberry Bliss to it as well, which is going to be really pretty. We'll let it dry just a minute. So you can do this and make your own custom gems. We'll pop that down inside our flower. So now we have a Blackberry Bliss holographic gem. And you can do this with your Stampin' Write markers. The alcohol markers are what you need. You do want to be careful when you're doing that you don't mess up the tip of your marker. Be gentle. If it's a faceted gem where it's got some cuts to it, then definitely just be really gentle so you don't mess up the tip of your marker. But it's a really cool effect, I think. I'm going to take some more of this gold ribbon. But first, let's use a couple more dimensionals. I was going to show you too. Anybody know where this pretty little die cut piece comes from that I stamped on? I'll give you a hint. It's from a carryover die set. Oops. Whoops. Just flung my ribbon. Let me get one more dimensional. So I place those on there kind of goofy. Okay. And then this gold mesh ribbon is just so lovely. And I'm actually going to run it all the way around and tie a little knot. I like working from the bolt. A lot of times people ask me how much ribbon, but I just tend to work from the bolt. I feel like I waste less ribbon that way. Tie a pretty knot. You could even tie a bow if you wanted to. We'll snip that off. Get that dimensional back. Put it in the trash. So I like that because, and get this dimensional back and put it in the trash. Because now when I open that up, it goes all across the inside of my card too. And you can just use your ribbon. And we will come in and add our greeting. Let me turn it sideways to do that. So again, just a little bit different look. This was more what I had in my mind that I was telling Cheryl about last week. But you could still do this where you cut this whole thing out too. Just trying to think of different ways that we can use our Everyday Arches dies, because they are just amazing. Right before I came on live, I saw that someone left a comment on one of my reels and said they had not even opened their, I think it was Eleanor, she said she had not opened her Everyday Arches dies, and I told her to put that on her to-do list because these things are awesome. I just love them. Let me show you where this beautiful label comes from that we put our sentiment on. And I bet some of you guessed, because this has been a really very popular set, and it's the Unbounded Love. So it's this die here. This is a really nice die set that has a lot of different labels that you can use with all your stamps. It's really a versatile set because you've got small dies that you can put a little bit longer sentiments, circles, ovals, scallops. Really, really pretty set. That's where that came from. Okay, so that is our project for today. I hope you'll let me know what you think about using our Everyday Arches in that way. If you have the Everyday Arches and you create a card like this, like what Trish inspired us with, I hope that you'll share a picture in the comments below. A lot of times people text me a picture, and I love that. But when you share it in the comments of the video, then everybody can see it too. And while I'm thinking about it, I wanted to let you know that Facebook is now deleting live videos that are 30 days old or more. So as I go back on my Facebook page, I see that a lot of my live videos have been deleted. It's just something that they decided to do. I think the end of June is when it really, really took effect. I'm really fortunate that someone that I learned from early on recommended that I upload my Facebook Live videos to YouTube, and so I've been doing that for years. So if you're ever looking for something that you saw on Facebook Live and it's been a little while, you can head over to YouTube and find it that way. Or reach out to me and I'll tell you how you can find it. But just so you know, not going crazy, it will say join me live, and then there won't be a live video when you scroll back a couple months because they are now deleting those. Okay, I have one more card that I want to share with you. Thanks again, Trish. I loved getting your card. And wait till you see this one. Absolutely stunning card from my sweet friend Debbie. And I'm going to bring it a little closer so you can really see the detail of her coloring. It is just so lovely. Love how she used the vertical stripe back behind that focal image. So pretty. And then even a little stripe of the DSP on the inside of the panel there. So I thought this was just a gorgeous card. I'd love to case this too, but I can't color like that. So, so pretty. So thank you, Debbie. I love getting happy mail, and I've decided that I'm going to start taking some pictures and posting them too, so y'all can get a little bit closer view of a card like that. Let me think if there's anything else. I don't think so. We do have bingo next weekend, which is the 26th. We're going to be using the Turtly Cute suite of products and the DSP anyway, and we're making some cute cards at bingo. We're prepping for that now. This Saturday, if you are local to me, we're doing Santa's workshop, so we can work on our service project, get a little jump on the Christmas cards that we'll be donating to both Salvation Army and Meals on Wheels. So if you would like to join us, you are more than welcome to. Just reach out to me and I'll give you all the details. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you all so much, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.